Well, it's fighting like a decent fish. Well, we're in.
What? Stripping. Right, well, bit of an evening update then.
It's like, who's starting?
It's gone racing off for this 27.7.
I've got a pretty powerful fish on here. Oh, there she is then. Slip her back home. Right, we're back on the bank. We're up in Abingdon, back in Oxfordshire, and we're obviously on the Phil Syndicate. We've got about 24 hours ahead of us. Hugh is with me today.
Hello.
So hopefully we're going to have a bit of a social. We've got a barbecue, so hopefully we'll have a bit of food later on if we end up getting in next to each other. We've been walking around, as always, location's key, and we found quite a large group of fish out in the middle out here in open water. It's pretty warm at the moment. It's about 10 o'clock, half 10, and it's already pretty warm. So it's meant to get warmer today as well, mid-20s, and then tomorrow I think it's meant to be upper 20s. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a warm one. But there's definitely a lot of fish out in that central zone cruising around. I think there's probably quite a lot of stock out there, looking at how many fish are showing. But we'll do a lap of the lake anyway. There's no one on here, so we'll do a lap of the lake, have a good look around, see what's going on, and then decide where we're going to get in. As always, we talk through our tips, tactics, all that sort of stuff to obviously put a few fish on the bank and hopefully help you guys out. And we're also be doing an in focus on a product a bit later in the video, so keep watching for that as well. But anyway, we're going to walk around, see what we can find, and let's hope we have a chance for a fish. See anything?
No, nothing, mate. Not close in. You've got to check everywhere. You used to be able to see the entire bottom. You know, like the water cloud was incredible. It's clearly there's a little bit of colouring in the water, which is making it a bit harder to spot. Spot some of these margin areas. There's got to be fish in it. You know what I mean?
Right, so we're round on the other bank, opposite pretty much where we did the last update, and it's quite clear that a lot of the fish are in this central zone in the middle, out towards sort of where the cables go over the lake. Now, Hugh noticed a bird swooping down to get the boatman, and the fish bolted, so it gave us a sign that there was clearly a lot more fish out there, wasn't there, mate?
Yeah, it's even more than what we could see. The birds are quite clearly swooping down, having a go at the thousands of boatmen that are on at the moment, and yeah, although I don't think the carp are so much interested in them, I think they're just sunning themselves. It's definitely helped us sort of added a bit to the watercraft, and there's even more out there than we first thought. So,
well, we'll have a walk around again. We'll keep going round because you never know what you're going to find. Even though most of the fish are out there, you never know. There could be some stuff in close up in the margins. We're just having a look around everywhere, trying to cover every bit of the lake we can. as you never know what you're going to find. So we'll carry on walking around and see what's going on.
Yeah, man. Right then, well, we're pretty much round to the last swim, and then we've done a full lap. You can probably guess this swim's called the pylon because of what's right behind me, but yeah, just to reiterate really, we're pretty certain we know where a large bulk of the fish are. We've seen the odd little one shows here and there, but the majority are right out in that middle of the lake, so kind of makes sense with the weather we've got over the next day or so. So I think it's time to probably get back to the van, get the rods out, and maybe ping some zigs at them. What are you thinking, mate?
Yeah, I reckon zigs, and then get a bit bait in for the night.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll drop down. I think it's going to be cooler in the night, so.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon that's the way to go for now, mate. And unless we see something else, let's get started.
Let's crack on.
Yeah, man.
Right, so as you can see, base camp set up. It is taking me ages to find a spot. I've been led in and led in around for absolute ages. I reckon a good couple of hours. I'm not gonna lie, it was doing my head in. There is a lot of weed in this swim. I've brought that lot and that lot back from out in the pond, and there's been loads of other bits and bobs that I've just slung down the side. It has been so weedy, and yeah, it's taken a long time. So I'm just hot and bothered. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hot and bothered at the moment. I'm sure you've all been in that situation before, but this swim used to have a lovely spot over 100 yards, just over 100 yards. It was a lovely area, and it seems like it's now gone. It's just covered in weed. The whole middle seems choked with weed. So I've not been able to fish where I would normally want to fish. I've had to come a lot shorter. So the spot I found is about 80 wraps or so, slightly to the right of the swim, and it's not absolutely perfect, it's not super clean, it's not super smooth, but it is presentable. So like I said, I've been doing it for a long time, and that is the best I can find, and or best I could find that I was happy to fish on. So the fish have definitely moved a bit out towards the other side with all the leading around, because myself and Hugh have been leading around. I think the fish have definitely moved out a little bit. I actually bumped a few fish on the way down with the lead, and a few of them spooked off casting around. But I've made up a bit of bait just down there. I've got a mix of the DNA bug and some of the house pellet, and there's a bit of the DNA maxi mix in there as well, the maxi cray mix, which absolutely honks. So it's mostly boilie. I've got a load of 8mm, a few 20s and some 16s, and then I've put a little bit of pellet in there, not too much pellet, but mostly to fill the gaps in the spod so it flies a lot more accurately. But anyway, I've got to wrap up the main rods now. I've just been prepping some rigs up under the shade, and I need to wrap the rods up, and I thought I'd just go through a little bit of a tip for when wrapping the rods up. Now it's pretty bright up here, but basically what I do with the wrapping sticks is when I'm using braid, I see if I can get down here. Basically, when I'm using braid, I have the sticks facing that way round, and that way the braid can't come off the top of the stick, so I don't get any tangles or any problems with that. But when I'm fishing mono, especially when I'm fishing closer range, like 80 wraps or so, there's not much chance of getting any issues with the line springing off. So I turn them around, and what that means is when you then wind it back onto the spool, it takes a lot less time, because you haven't got to move the rod from side to side. You just hold it high in the air and it comes straight off the top, and saves you a little bit of messing around. So don't do it with braid, because you will end up getting a load of tangles. If braid ends up pulling off of a marker stick, it's getting tangled. But with mono, because it's smooth, it doesn't get tangled up as easy, and so it's a really nice little tip to save yourself some time when wrapping. I wouldn't do it if I'm fishing really long range, over like 100 yards, because chances are you could still get it coming off. But when I'm fishing under 100 yards and definitely closer range, I tend to do that because it saves me a little bit messing around. But anyway, let's get the rods wrapped up and get them out on the spot. Right then, rods are wrapped up and I've just got the rigs prepped, hook baits are on, and they're leant against the brolly ready to go out in the pond. So I'm going to get them out and let's see if we can have a fish. I'll show you what I'm using. So leg clips on all 3 rods, and then I've got basically some balanced baits, standard D-rigs that I always use. As you can see, I've just got a couple of snowmen on one, and I've actually got a wafter and half a pop-up on that one, so that one's really balanced. Just to try something slightly different. But yeah, usual setup. I'll talk through what I'm using exactly in a second, but they're going out in the pond now, so let's get them out there. Right then, the rods are fishing, finally. We've got rods out on the spot. It's been an absolute graft today. It's been really warm. I'm terrible in hot weather. It seems to take so long for me to get things done when it's hot. It really seems to slow me down. But it's been about mid-20s today. Felt more like 35 degrees. It's been so warm. But anyway, we're fishing. So I'm in a swim called the In-Between. That's what I've decided to set up for the session. And there's been a lot of fish showing out in front of me. Hugh's to my left in a swim called the Scaffold, and basically there were a lot of fish showing out in this sort of open water area, which is why we decided to get in here. Now, it's taken a long time to find a spot. I've done a load of leading around, and the area that I used to fish, which has done me a lot of bites in the past, is not there anymore. It's all weeded up solid. So I've had to spend time trying to find a completely different area, and I didn't want to just fish the sort of barren open land before that you get to the weed. I wanted to try and find an area that was almost a spot amongst the weed, where an area that potentially the fish had sort of created as a feeding spot. And I have found something which I'm pretty sure is going to be that, and it took a long time to find, but I'm happy now that I'm fishing on a relatively good zone. Now, it's not the cleanest spot, but the quarter marker lead with the little nodules on, that does pull across it without getting too snagged up in anything. And I also put an old rig out on the spot and pulled that back, and that come back clean. So I'm happy it's going to be fishing okay. Now, bait wise, I've probably mentioned it I think already, because I did do a bit of spodding, but I've put out mostly a boilie mix, which normally I do 50-50 sort of boilie pellet, but today I thought I'm going to do a little bit more boilie approach. So I've got some 20s, or actually might be 18 16s and some 8 millers. I've then mixed a bit of the house pellet, which is the Copham's pellet in there, which are like 10 millers. And I've put a little bit of the Maxi Cray mix in there, which absolutely honks, and that definitely helps pull the fish down. So it's predominantly boilie, but I have got a bit of pellet in there as well. And then I'm just using my standard D-rigs. Now, you probably hear loads of different stuff about D-rigs and what to use, about rigs in general and what you should use. And all I would say is just use whatever you're confident in. Like if you're watching this and you see the rigs and you think, oh, they're pretty cool, like, don't worry yourself about rigs. Just use something that you're confident in, keep using it, and it will keep catching you fish. Don't get caught up in the whole sort of mindset of getting confused by rigs and should I be using this, should I be using that. Just use something that you're confident in, that's effective and works, and just stick with it. And that's basically what I use. I've got a couple of rigs that I use. I love a solid bag. I don't mind a Ronnie if I need to fish a pop-up, although it's not my preference. And then I love the D rigs because they just present a bait really well over a cleaner or slightly dirty bottom. Now I'm fishing 2 on a Snowman, 1 on a balanced wafter, so I'm confident that I'm going to be fishing effectively, and if any fish visit that spot, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up having one. So there's been a lot of fish out there. I'm feeling pretty confident, so let's let the rods do their job. Hopefully we'll have a chance of one, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. But I'm pretty sure Hugh's got sorted now anyway, so I'm going to hand over to him and he's going to just talk you through quickly what he's been getting up to.
So like Shaun, yeah, it took quite a while leading around, but I did find a nice clear area, about 20 wraps. So started with just a bare lead, but then, you know, I'm finding that area, want to know a lot more about it. I haven't fished this peg for years, so yeah, switched over to one of the grappling leads, and that's something I'd say, you know, always make sure you're doing your own fishing, because you find out so much more about the bottom. And you know, the middle of the spot, nice and clean, so presenting an S7 wafter over that. But then, you know, left and right, it does start getting a bit more choddy, and there is a bit of silkweed around, which on inspection is full of natural. So, you know, that's great news. You know, it's an area the fish might come and feed anyway. But yeah, because of that reason, I'm going to fish 2 very low lying pop-ups. Rig-wise, it's the same across all three rigs. So all it is a sort of knotless knot style, using a whipping knot to attach, to trap the hair against the shank of the hook, and then a bit of shrink tubing. On the pop-ups, I'm using an extra large thinking angler sinker, which just weights, you know, counterweights the pop-up, the 12mm bug perfectly. And you know, on the middle rod, just I've got a couple of small ones just to pin it all down nicely, really. So yeah, very simple rig. Fingers crossed it can pick us up a fish tonight. Just to mention, so we did say when we were walking around we're going to sling some zigs out, because they were all quite clearly shown on the surface. Truth be told, it took us so long to find that spot for the evening that we both scrapped that idea. We've created all that disturbance, and what we wanted to do was get set for the evening and the night, and actually that way hopefully the fish can drift back in now that we've, you know, had no disturbance in the water for an hour or so, and they can drift back in this evening and tonight and feed a bit more confidently. So yeah, we scrapped that idea just for the sake of getting set for the night, and like I say, causing no disturbance later on by having to recast bottom baits out there. So yeah, fingers crossed, looking good. The lake looks amazing as always, and you know, I'm confident if those fish drift back in towards us, that we're going to pick up a bite or 2 between us at least. One thing I also mention is when leading around, I did stick the marker float on there just to learn the depth, because I haven't fished it for so long. So if nothing happens overnight, at least in the morning I can slip some zigs on and ping them out there at the depths I know. So yeah, made sure that I've got as much out of that disturbance that I've caused as I can, and yeah, feeling confident. So we skipped lunch because we were laying around so long, so we are both absolutely starving, so we're going to fire at the barbecue and cook some good food and chat a load of fishing rubbish, I expect. So yeah, we'll catch up soon.
No, that post looks straight in the back right now. Oh, there, that's straight, isn't it? Yeah. That's not straight. That post might be.
Dear God, such an immature penile. Right then, well, a bit of an evening update, shall we say? Yep, good start. One for the outtakes.
Oh, I nearly spat that then.
That would have been even better.
Yeah, well, it went all over the camera. To be fair, mate, that's so much easier to see.
You need to be able to see, because you'll only look at the screen anyway. Right then, well, bit of an evening update then. So nothing's happened, obviously, otherwise you would have...
Great update. Nothing's happened. Job done.
Right then, well, evening update. So barbecue's been on, and we're 2 burgers deep each so far, aren't we? So that was a much needed scram. I think Shaun was getting a bit sort of angry, wasn't you? And,
definitely. Not ate since breakfast, so...
Yeah, it's a long time for you, to be fair. So, yeah, but so far nothing to report, unfortunately. But it's not overly unexpected with the amount of commotion we've made so far. But like I say, barbecue's on, and we're all good in the world, aren't we, mate? So
we are.
Feeling confident going in tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling confident. I'm always confident on here, to be honest. I spent a lot of time finding a spot, so hopefully that pays off. Good bit of bait out there. Always works normally, doesn't it? So that's all we can do, really. There's been a lot of fish cruising around in the sun today, but now that the light's going, it's definitely cooling off. So let's just hope they drop down, look for a bit of food, and hopefully we'll be updating you at some point tonight with a fish.
Yeah, not fussy how big, to be honest.
Yeah,
just
nice to get a bite, wouldn't it?
A bite apiece would be lovely.
Yeah,
going
definitely.
into the morning. But well, I guess if anything happens, we'll come back to you. Otherwise, you're going to see at least one of us slurping a cup of tea or coffee in the morning, looking rather upset. So until then, good night. Right, well, there we go then. Bite number 1. It's about 2 in the morning, and I've upset Shaun by waking him up, I won't lie. But yeah, right hand rod on a little pink pop-up. It's gone racing off for this 27.7, so happy days. Nice to have a slightly better one out of syndicate, because most of my other fish I've had recently have been upper doubles or low 20s, so yeah. Well, let's slip this one back, get the rod back out, and see what else the night can bring.
Right, morning then. So it's about 7 o'clock or so now. It's pretty warm already. I actually got woken up by the sun this morning because it was absolutely blasting through the brolly door, and it was warm, really warm. So I've been up for about half an hour. I had a lovely night's sleep, other than getting interrupted by someone, didn't I?
I can only apologise, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, it's a bit brutal waking them up at 2 in the morning, but it's nice to be off the mark, that nice 27.7 that you've already seen. And yeah, I didn't put any more bait after that, just thought I've already put out quite a good hit, and I'll see if any more bites can come from that. So, you know, it's early doors now, bite time's well upon us, and fingers crossed one of us can get another one before we got to go. 28 degrees later on, I don't think either of us are going to be putting up with that sort of temperatures. Yeah. We both struggle in the heat, so yeah, probably fish till about midday or so, and see what happens. But it's my turn to put the kettle on, isn't it?
It is, mate, yeah. Let's get the kettle on. You can do breakfast as well.
Oh, here we go again, yeah.
So let's go and do that, and hopefully we get disturbed by a bite.
Yeah, man. Right then, well, it's just gone 9:30 in the morning. We've got fish number 2 out of the blue. I won't lie, I haven't really seen that much out in front of me. It's mainly on the other side of the lake. And yeah, a few bleeps. Noticed the line jetting off towards the right over the other rod, and I thought, well, that's got to be one. So yeah, got me weeded up a couple of times, but came in a nice straight line in the end. And Shaun was luckily there to help me out. A massive ball of weed and a carp. So 22-pound mirror, fish number 2. This time on a white little small pop-up. Happy days.
What happened there, mate?
Flag at success, isn't it? yeah, happy days, do you know what I mean? 2 fish, I'm absolutely buzzing, I won't lie. So definitely time to get the rods back out, because they're a bit of a mess at the moment. So getting back out on spot, fingers crossed. Be greedy for a third, but you never know. Right then, now we've had a couple of fish, I thought I'd just talk through the rig in a little bit more detail. It's a really versatile rig. You can fish it either pop up, bottom bait or wafter style, depending on what you're fishing over. To construct it, you've got 8 inches of ESP tungsten loaded braid attached to a size 4 ESP gripper hook. I like to trap the braid against a shankered hook using a whipping knot, just because I'm often fishing weedy waters, and I find with shrink tubing or silicone they get damaged quite easily, and then the rig's sort of useless, even though the hook's still good to go. There you can see I've got a 12mm Fruitalicious pop-up, but I have been having the fish today on a sort of pink or a white bug. Thinking anglers, extra large sinker there just perfectly counterweights the sort of buoyancy of the 12mm pop-up. And then I've got a tungsten loaded anti-tangle sleeve there, just slips onto the leg clip and makes it really quick when changing rigs. So yeah, really versatile rig. Hook holds have been brilliant so far, so no reason to change it going forward. And yeah, maybe it's something you can put into your fish, and if you like the idea of having one rig that can do it all.
Yeah, nice one onto that one. Lift that rod quick. Oh, okay, wait for 2 minutes.
What's going on there, mate?
Well, we're in.
What? Stripping?
We were just doing a bit of filming down in Hugh's swim, and Hugh come up to get my long lens, and as he was in the swim the rod's ripped off, and I've got a pretty powerful fish on here. I'll be honest, I wasn't really expecting anything. I thought bite time had passed. As it's got pretty warm now, and yeah, it's just powered off, and it's quite a strong fish. It feels pretty good at the moment, but it is quite hard to tell. But it's really plodding. Well, it's fighting like a decent fish. I don't know if it is or not. It's probably going to end up being a double. But yeah, it's nice to get a bite. I'm not going that way. Come on. That was cool. Lush. Full of bees. Does not want to give up. That's ridiculous. He's got so much power, hasn't he?
Yeah, he ain't stopping.
That's such a powerful, strong fish, that. It's absolutely beasting. Oh, that looks lush. Look at that mark on his side. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get in that net. Get in that net! Hey! Oh, happy days.
Right, there we go then. Got a fish. Definitely didn't see this happening, I'm not going to lie. The spot seemed really quiet. Hugh's had a couple of fish, one last night, one early this morning. We're sort of mid-morning now, and getting towards midday I suppose, and rod's gone ripping off. Nice mid-20 common, I think it was 26, 12 or thereabouts. Really happy with that. I think it's my best common out of the lake so far. So yeah, nice to have one of the better commons. Very recognisable fish with that mark on the side you can see at the moment. But yeah, well happy with that. Nice to have another one. So it's very warm, so we're going to get it back quick. Whoa, Jesus Christ.
Gonna get it back.
Oh, there she is then. Let's slip her back home. Come on. Off she waddles. Wicked. That's cool.
It's going to be another in focus looking at the Thinking Anglers compact tackle pouch. A wicked little bit of kit that I've had for about 6 months now, and yeah, helps me stay nice and organised when out on the bank. So if you like these sort of videos, make sure you hit subscribe, like the video, and yeah, check us out on social media on the platforms down below. Right then, so in this in focus piece I'm going to be talking through my Thinking Anglers compact tackle pouch. So something I've owned for about 6 months now, and it's definitely helped me keep myself more organised when out on the bank. So everything I need for the sort of the last metre, should we say, whether it's leaders or anything to tie a rig, is all kept in here, so I know where it is in the middle of the night. So it comes in 2 colours, olive and also this extra camo, carpy camo, sorry. So yeah, it's definitely caught me an extra couple of fish, definitely. And then yeah, going into it, so you've got 3 pouches on the outside. So in one I keep all my helicopter leaders, the front one I keep all of my leg clip leaders, and then in this one is also anything I need to counterbalance, pop-ups or sort of sinkers, that sort of stuff. So yeah, that all then lives in that end pouch. Moving into the main compartment then, so as you open the lid, you're met with sort of some, this is sort of to hold all your baiting needles. For me, I still find they get a bit snagged up and they're quite tricky to get in and out. I do have my maggot needle there just to keep that tucked away. But yeah, I keep most of my needles, especially all the like gape latch ones and things like that, that are quite delicate, in this zip, just so they're nice and tucked out of the way and kept sort of safe. I also keep any sort of spare hooks or any little bits and bobs you might want to sort of double up on in there as well. So yeah, nice little feature. Moving into the main compartment area then, so you can divide it up however you wish. It comes with this one divider. So for me, I've got it kind of 1/3, and this is where I keep all of my sort of packets of hooks, swivels, yeah, anything that you're going to need to sort of tie a rig, bait stops, anything like that, shrink tubing, that sort of thing. So that keeps it nice and stored there. It's never going to sort of slide around and you know, get lost or things fall out, so it's nice and snug. And then in the main compartment area is where I keep, so you've got in there, you've got some crimp tools, lighters, scissors, all of my hook link materials that I might use for different situations, sort of like tool pullers. And then I do keep one baiting needle in there just for ease, but yeah, a little tip, I always like put an old boiler on the end just so it doesn't get wedged into the material or you get yourself an injury. So yeah, spacious enough to have more than what you would ever need. To be fair, that's quite cluttered and could probably do with a clear out now of things that I haven't used for last few sessions. But yeah, it just keeps it all nice and compact, as in the title, and just means when you're out in the bank you can be a bit more effective knowing where you've kept all of those sort of key items for that, like I say, that last meter. And if you need to knock up a rig quickly, one pouch out and yeah, crack on. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in and you've sort of fed up of using large tackle boxes, maybe think about getting yourself one of Thinking Anglers compact pouches, and yeah, hopefully it might help you out on the bank.
session. We've just loaded up the vans. Unfortunately, no other bites for us. Finished it off with a bit of food, and we've packed down, and we're going to get on the way. I've got to go to work. Hugh's got family duties.
Yep.
So nice session, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, very nice. Company was pretty good. Nice to chew the fat last night over a barbecue, and yeah, as always, make the most of the time you're getting out on the bank, and just make sure you enjoy it. So.
Yeah, so hopefully you've liked the video. If you have, remember to subscribe to the channel, check out the social media below, and until next time, get out there and be lucky. Any last words?
Good time. Yeah, I like your t-shirt.
Yeah, we've got matching t-shirts.
Sad.
That wasn't planned.
Loser.
That's quite funny.